Hello YouTube, this is Ben Gessel. How's it going? I'm going to do a quick winter fruit and vegetable video here for you guys. A lot to talk about, but try to get to the main points here. So, if you're like me, you're probably like missing summer sometimes in some respects regarding summer. Well, specifically summer has in the temperate areas of the world, at least especially, we'll just say, well, no. Temperate areas of the world in general. Summer has all the berries and cherries and other such things, peaches and things that are just amazing. They just taste amazing. And so, you know, in other months you kind of get shafted a little bit that way. You know, but the purpose of this video, let me just go through a few things that I tend to get more often in the winter, as well as maybe a few other things that would still be a good idea to get. Let's just start over here to the left. This is an example of something that is not a fresh vegetable or fruit in a way, but it is, or at least not in the traditional sense. It's dried raisins. And you can see in here, nice kind of dark, kind of brownish, purplish color in that general vicinity. I like to say it's purple, but so sun-made raisins. This is kind of my go-to kind of thing. If I want something that tastes like grapes, and I don't want to get a whole bunch of grape juice, which I sometimes do. And you know, we still have grapes, but they're just not as much in season as you get into the colder months. So I'll go for raisins sometimes, and just amazing energy boost. It always is worth it to get raisins, I think. And they have a lot of potassium and a little bit of iron, other stuff like that. Just balance it with some nuts, maybe just, you know, because they're sweeter and you're going to be amazing. And switching over to our guy here, pretty typical looking yellow onion. So with onions, I tend to use them a lot with cooking Indian food, especially basic onion-based curries and things. But also other things that here and there. How I tend to do it, you know, I'm sure it's pretty similar with you guys. I peel off the skin, and then I know there's various ways of cutting onions that, you know, you can get really small cubed shaped onion pieces by going this way, and then the other way, and then like the other way. And you know, there's a way that works pretty well for me, but it's always a good thing to use a big knife. And to, I guess there are things, you know, other ways of cutting it that small that work even better. But there's, at least the way I cut it works for me. I imagine I can get better at my technique still. But I'm often tempted sometimes to use the part of the onion that's right kind of beneath the skin, but not quite the real good part of the onion. It's not really worth it. It's more skin-like than onion-like, if you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so onion's pretty versatile. Use this with cooking all the time. But you definitely want to get some onions, especially like that stuff in the winter months. Moving on here, pretty typical looking russet, I should say brown potato, just regular potato. I think it's russet. And I usually get golds and reds, but sometimes I just went with the russet this time. And like one of these is just plenty to use. And I've actually kind of realized, well, with the potato, if you want to make hash browns, because there's all different ways of making hash browns, I realized the best way of doing it is, I used to kind of try to do a, you know, and I still do this sometimes. You poke holes in the potato all over the place with a fork. You microwave it for a little bit, and then you can kind of work with it how you want to, but then it makes the potato soft. It cooks the potato, basically. And so, you know, if you want really clean, again, cubed-shaped hash brown pieces, what you want to do, I think, is cut it first, cut it up like you would cut an onion, and then put it in the pan with some oil or something, and salt and whatever else, and make hash browns that way. And it's also good to use butter, I don't know, grass-fed ghee butter if you want. But there's a lot of other ways of making potatoes and different kinds of things, and a lot of us you know, so a lot of people will get the pre-made hash browns, just put oil in it and cook it up really fast. That's the healthier way of doing it, I think, but getting the real potato. And of course we have its cousin, the sweet potato. This is a USDA organic sweet potato. Sweet potatoes, I used to think that sweet potatoes were orange and potatoes were white-ish or yellowish. The sweet potato is actually more yellowish, really. The yam is the one that's the orange color. Yams are a little bit bigger and darker colored on the outside and orange in the middle. Yams and sweet potatoes are especially associated with, yams in particular, with West Africa. But sweet potatoes very much are awesome. Now, like, you know, sometimes I'll do an oven roasted potato type thing, but with sweet potatoes, I think it really is best. I mean, I found I had a lot of success cutting it up into somewhat not super small, but kind of medium sized pieces. Putting it on a pan with a little bit of even maybe salt and garlic or other stuff. I mean, a lot of people like to put, at least with squash, I think, like to put a lot of brown sugar and stuff like that, and it tastes great. But that's the squash stuff. Maybe a little bit of yams. With sweet potatoes, I treat them more like potatoes, I've realized, and they just come out amazing. It actually tasted better than best tasting sweet potatoes I've ever had, just oven roasted. So that's my recommendation there. I know you want to preserve that vitamin A, but trust me, you get tons of vitamin A. I mean, like, you could probably get vitamin A from, you know, some other stuff, and you'll probably get still some stuff in the middle of the, you know, sweet potato. So I know that vitamins A and C are always more heat sensitive. So this next guy I know isn't really a winter star, but it's still a good thing to get here and there. This is from Mexico, avocado, and they're pretty reliable, especially if you're vegan. A good source of protein and fats and things. It's always good to mix avocado or something like it, like nuts and things, or seeds with vegetables, like salads and things, because, you know, these kinds of really healthy fats help you absorb more of the nutrients in greens and things. It's not the best winter thing, because really the peak of avocado season, I think, is a little bit different season, but yeah, it's okay. You know, you get avocados year round. Next guy here, celery. So I always look for celery that's green. The greener the better. And if it's firm, and if you break it off, it makes kind of cracking sound. These are kind of organic greens, celery stalks. And, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but vegetables, you know, you need to eat your vegetables, but vegetables are really amazing for your bones, as well as your skin and all kinds of other stuff, of course. But the bone thing is underrated. Celery in particular is one of the vegetables and produce that can really help you have strong bones. And my opinion, I think vegetables are more important to your bones and teeth and things than even dairy. Dairy is not quite all it's cracked up to be, but, you know, butter, you know, a little bit here and there, it's fine. Next up here we have pomegranate. Now this guy I know I'm going to spend a little bit of time on. Pomegranates are coming in this time of year, December, January, February. Well, December, January more. I think Christmas time, basically. And, you know, there's a way of making the pomegranate where you can put it, you can kind of cut it open, and you can put everything in a bowl first. Sorry, you put the pomegranate in the bowl, cut it open, and you let the white parts of the pomegranate, or you fill the bowl with water, and you let the natural, you want to break it up a little bit. You let the white part of the pomegranate float to the top, and then you keep the seeds. So you just skim off the white part. I don't like to bother with all that. I just cut it all up and put it in a bowl. So there's some juice that comes out, and then I just dive in. Face first, I just dive in, and I just get a little bit of the white stuff. It's just, I just can't, I don't have the patience to do all that. So, but yeah, that way works for me. But pomegranates are kind of the star. They're the star of the show here. Nothing else taste-wise, yeah, you get some apples that are like tasty and things, but apples are still kind of humble. This is really the star of the show, the pomegranate, at least for winter months. There's maybe some other things like, you know, cranberries and stuff, but cranberries, you want to have it more like in cranberry sauce, because if you've ever tried raw cranberries, it just doesn't. You have to use it in a blender or something. It's just, you know. Of course, bananas. Can't go without bananas. Always great. So bananas and avocados make a great combination as well, by the way. Bananas and avocados, just for fuel foods. That way. Now I wanted to compare these guys here. Two different kinds of mandarins. You see the one on the left here, it tastes great. It's just fine. It's a little bit bigger. It's still pretty firm. It's going to be good tasting. This one here, though, on the right, it's, you know, if you notice that a mandarin is flatter, right, a little smaller, that, if it's firm, that guy is going to be very juicy, very, very, very sweet. A little bit different kind of, I guess, mandarin, clementine, tangerine. They all get kind of a little bit confusing to me, but this one is going to be the sweeter one. This one's going to taste great too, but this one is going to be amazing, right? If it's more berry size, a little bit. So moving on here a little bit, we're going to skip over here a little bit to this, our traditional, the apple. So Honey Crisps are still great, but you know, right now it's just the time to get apples, and you know, they do help you just be healthier. An apple day keeps the doctor away. It's probably true, especially if you're younger. If you're older, you know, things just happen over time, but whatever. But definitely want to get some of those guys here and there, and of course pears as well. This guy, I don't know if you've had this type of green before, some of you guys. There's always the edges. So this is this one with all the. You can have different colored veins. Some of these, I mean, if it gets red, looks like a Swiss chard type thing. These are collard greens. Collard greens are gigantic, leafy vegetables, and of course they're used a lot in the Southern cuisine. Personally, I like just kind of doing the lightly sautéed things, so you don't cook them too long or whatever, but you know, get more of the vitamin A and C. But these things are amazingly healthy. They are going to have a bit stronger kind of. They're in the turnip brassica family, so they're not quite as strong as turnip greens. I've tried mustard greens before. Mustard greens are very potent, very, very potent. But mustard greens, kale, collard greens, they're all kind of related a little bit. You know, there's such things like that. Anyway, but these are going to be a good thing to get, as well as our organic carrots. You can kind of see the actual carrot in there. So I've been told you can do something with the stems. I don't know. And if you get them organic like this, they sometimes have very big stems that I don't tend to use, but carrots, tons and tons. See this deep orange color, tons and tons of vitamin A. Just a lot of beta carotene in there. So you definitely want some of that stuff in there too. So anything else to mention here? Expense-wise, the pomegranates are going to be a little bit more, but they will go down in price over time. And believe me, guys, they are worth every penny. And they actually are, I think, one of the healthiest and one of the tastiest fruits of all fruits. But you know, the avocado, it actually beats out the avocado these days. Go with the pomegranate over the avocado even. Even though you get more protein, fat, and everything from the avocado, you can still get some of that from other foods like nuts and beans and a little bit of animal foods if you go for that stuff. But the pomegranate, again, is the star of the show. It has so much to it that's so healthy. And it's also worth it to prepare it yourself. You can get pomegranate seed stuff, and if you don't want to go through the rigmarole of getting it all out of the white stuff, you can get pomegranate seeds, of course, on its own, but they're going to be, I think they're a little bit too expensive. So you want to get the actual pomegranate and prepare it yourself. And pomegranate juice is also very, very expensive. It's healthy. It's so healthy, but it's getting toward that kind of more astringent cranberry currant type of flavor. So it's not super sweet. The juice form, it's got some sweetness. So you know it's healthy. In a way it's healthier because you know it's fine. It's great to have sweeter juices, but pomegranate juice really is a little bit potent and good, but just again, you might want to tone it down a little bit. But you don't need to get the juice even. It's great to get some of that, but get the fruit and stuff. Even though it's a little bit more than some other fruits. Oranges are always a great choice. Even the bigger ones, navels. I tend to go for navels and Valencia oranges the most often. And of course, you got your starches and and the raisins. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Of course, I didn't include summer squash. Oh, sorry, actually, I think it's winter squash. So it's winter squash and acorn squash, and some of the squashes and pumpkins and things are still. I'd say squashes are still great things to eat, and zucchini and stuff in the winter. I'm sure I've forgotten a few things. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Catch you guys later. Bye.